Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really powerful idea from Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. And it's this. What if all the emotional pain we carry around with us isn't actually caused by our lives, but by our own minds? Let's get into it and find out how to break free.
You know how it goes. When we're unhappy or things just feel off, our first instinct is to look outside ourselves. We blame the job, the relationship, our whole life situation. We tell ourselves, if only that one thing would change, then I'd finally be happy.
But what if that's not the real story? What if the actual source of our suffering isn't what's happening out there at all, but how our mind is reacting to it in here?
And that brings us to the first huge idea from Tolle. He argues that pain isn't really created by the events in our lives. Nope, it's created by our mind's constant resistance to what is happening right here in this very moment. It's almost like a formula. Your mind slaps a label on a moment. This is bad, or this shouldn't be happening. And in that split second of mental judgment, that resistance, that's when suffering is born. The event itself, it's just neutral. It's our label that creates the pain.
But here's the thing. There's a consequence to this. Every single time we experience this kind of emotional pain and don't fully feel it and let it go, it doesn't just poof, disappear. It leaves behind a residue, like an emotional charge that just keeps accumulating inside of us year after year.
So this buildup of old, unresolved pain, it isn't just a collection of bad memories. It all merges together to form its own negative energy field. And Tolle gives this thing a very specific name. He calls it the pain body. So what is it? Well, think of it like an invisible entity, almost like a psychic parasite that's living inside you. It's literally made up of all your past hurts. And believe me, it has its own powerful instinct to survive.
Now, the pain body has two very distinct states. Most of the time, for some people, maybe even 90% of the time, it can just lie dormant, kind of asleep in the background. But then something triggers it, an event, a comment, even just a thought, and it awakens. And when it awakens, it has one main goal: to feed. And you can actually start to recognize when your pain body has been activated. It's that sudden wave of irritation that comes out of nowhere over something tiny. That dark mood you just can't shake. Or that compulsive need to create drama in a relationship. These are all its telltale signs. This quote from Tolle just reveals its whole strategy. To survive, the pain body literally hijacks your thoughts, and it makes you unconsciously seek out situations that generate more of what it's made of. More anger, more sadness, more drama. It literally feeds on negativity. So, what allows this painful cycle to keep going? What's the fuel that keeps this pain body alive and kicking? Well, the answer, according to Tolle, is found in our relationship with time itself. Tolle makes a really important distinction here. There's clock time, which is practical, right? We need it to schedule meetings and plan our day. But then there's psychological time, and that's a total mental burden. That's when we're constantly living in the past with regret and resentment, or obsessing about the future with anxiety and worry. And this psychological time, it's the pain body's playground. It keeps us completely trapped. We build this false identity out of our past suffering, and we project this fantasy of salvation onto a future that never actually arrives, because it's always the future. So, if this prison we're in is built out of psychological time, then the escape hatch has to be the only thing that is ever truly real, the present moment. Just think about it for a second. Your entire life, every single second of it, only ever happens in the now. The past, that's just a memory trace you access now. The future, it's just an imagined concept you think about now. The present moment is the only reality we ever experience. And this is exactly why the pain body, along with all the fear and negativity it brings, simply cannot exist in the pure presence of the now. It's a creature of psychological time, and it absolutely starves without a past to regret and a future to be afraid of. Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we access this power of now? How do we break free when that pain body takes over? Well, Tolle gives us a very clear, very practical strategy. Okay, so here's the 5-step process. First, you just focus your attention on that negative emotion inside your body. Don't fight it, just feel it. Then you mentally label it. Okay, this is the pain body. Third, you just accept that it's there without judging yourself for it. Now, step 4 is absolutely crucial. Don't let that feeling trigger a story in your head. Just watch the raw sensation itself. See, this simple act of watching is the whole game changer. The moment you can observe the pain body without getting lost in its dramatic story, you break your unconscious identification with it. You suddenly realize you are not the pain, you are the vast, silent awareness that's behind the pain. You stop feeding it, and your conscious attention starts to dissolve it.
This ancient piece of wisdom just captures the essence of this whole process perfectly. You don't fight the darkness of the pain body. You can't win that way. You simply shine the light of your own conscious presence on it, and in that light, it gets transformed.
Ultimately, what this practice does is it reveals your true power. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your pain. You are the silent witnessing presence behind it all. You're the guardian of your own inner space.
And this all leads to Toll's most profound point. Dying before you die. What does that mean? It means letting that false, mind-made self, that ego and all its accumulated pain, just dissolve. When you finally let go of who you think you are, you discover the timeless, formless being that you truly are.
And so, we're left with one final, powerful question to carry with us into the only moment we ever really have. What part of the past, what fear of the future are you ready to let go of right now?